Hello, hello. Now, I can't test any sound today, so I am just going to hope that this is working. I'm going to press a few buttons to see if they respond while I'm waiting to see if anyone joins live. If you're watching the replay, hello. Let me just... There we go, pressing that, there we go. Okay. So, hello to people who are watching live. Hello to people who are watching on replay. Thank you very much. This is 10 things to think about when you're considering career change. And there's so much talk out there at the moment about the big resignation, pivoting your career, reimagination. We talk about reinventing yourself. And it can just feel a little bit overwhelming sometimes. And so what do? We kind of do nothing. We just think, oh, it's too overwhelming. I'll stay where I am. I'll make do. So what I want to do in the next half an hour is go through a few questions that you can start asking yourself and a few things to start scribbling around that will just help make this a bit easier. We're literally starting from if you got a blank page. So you might just be thinking, I know I need change in my life, but I'm just not sure where to start. This is going to help you. Most of this is what we teach in Another Door program. This is what we go through with people. This kind of session, we would probably take a day to go through it and be really slow and talk a lot about what's coming up for people. But this is going to give you a good start. And then if you got questions, if you got further thoughts, then drop us a line at Another Door and we will try and help. So let's get started. I'm all about getting stuck in. I'm going to try and share screen. Now, Crowdcast isn't the best at this, but let me just try and share a screen. What it means is I won't be able to see the comments until the end, but please feel free to share any comments, any suggestions that are coming up, any questions, and I will certainly pick them up after we come off the screen. So for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, make yourself comfortable, get in a really comfortable place. I would recommend getting a notebook, pen, paper, and we're going to go exploring. Get your explorer hat on and see what comes up. Just sit with some of these questions and see what comes up. It's going to be quite fast paced, so it's not about having exact answers. It's about what's just going on when we start talking about various things and scribbling it down and capturing it. So let's get going. Right, here we go. Share the screen. Okay, so I run Another Door. You probably know that already. It's all about change. How do you bring change into your life? Whether you have just lost your job, whether you survived and you're still in your job, but you're wondering what next, you want something else, or you might just want a different relationship with your job. We're going to explore all that in the next half an hour. Just for those of you who don't know, who am I? I'm Eleanor Tweddell. I'm the author of Why Losing Your Job Could Be the Best Thing That Ever Happened to You. I'm the founder of Another Door. I'm also a communications consultant and I'm also a writer. So I wear a few hats, a good portfolio there that I chop and change and do all kinds of things now to bring in a living and basically live the life that I am choosing to live. So that's where we're going to go exploring. What's the equivalent? What's the life that you would like to live? How would you like to be? And what would you like to be doing? So where do you start? Okay, let's get stuck in. The first thing to think about are your choices. And know that you do have choices. In Another Door, we talk about 3 choices. We talk about the choice of sticking to your expertise, but maybe upgrading in some way. Maybe you can work for a different organisation, and one that's closer to your values, an organisation you've always admired. Maybe it's closer to home. Maybe you want to reduce the commute. You want to work in a different way. So stick to your expertise, stick to what you do, but upgrade in some way. Maybe you want to twist. Twist is taking your expertise, but delivering it in a different way. Maybe you want to teach your expertise. Maybe you want to do it with an agency. Maybe you want to consult it. Maybe you want to coach it. So you're taking the foundations of what you do and you're twisting how you do it. And the final choice is bust. When you throw all the cards in the air and you decide to break free and do something completely different. It might mean learning something new. It might be coming completely out of comfort zone. But you've always wanted to do it, and so you're going to go for it. So that's the first thing to start thinking about. Those are the 3 choices. You can stick, twist, and bust. And as we start exploring this, you'll start to understand, what's your appetite? What's your level of change that you want to bring into your life? Do you really want to change everything, or is there just some tweaks? If you are making scribbles as we go through, as I was reading them out, what came to mind? In this session, it's really good just to capture first thoughts. Just scribble them down in a notebook. Don't overanalyze, don't edit. Just capture what was your first reactions when you're thinking about some of these questions. Number 2, the next thing to start thinking about is where you are right now. In the Another Door program, we do use the life wheel that often a lot of coaches use, but we call it the life dashboard. The reason why I call it a dashboard rather than a wheel is it has a really nice image of you being in control, and you can dial up things and dial down things as you need to. The message here is you do not have to be at full strength achieving everything in every part of your life. That's exhausting and it can wear you out believing that you have to do it. This is more about a dashboard that you're in control of, that sometimes you are going to have to dial up your health and well-being, and that means maybe dialing down some other areas. Sometimes you want to dial up friends and family. That means you're going to have to dial down other parts. So at all times, it's not about having it all on full blast, because imagine that feeling of a dashboard with everything pumping hard in the same direction to achieve maximum in all parts of the dashboard. It's about controlling it and knowing what you're wanting from right now. So as I was talking there, what came up? Where are you right now on that dashboard? Where is your full focus? What's getting all of your energy and attention? If you had to maybe rank just the 6 things that are on the screen, what's number 1? Do this really quickly and see what comes out. Are you surprised? Does it feel aligned? Does it feel right? Are you putting energy in the right places? What would be the ideal arrangement? What would you really like to start prioritizing? We can only ever have one priority. In Another Door, we talk about the priority list. You could maybe have 5 things on your priority list that you're really trying to work towards or focus on, but there'll always be a number 1. And that number 1 thing will be overshadowing everything else. Maybe for the right reason, maybe for the wrong reason. The message in this section is own that number 1 space. If you have to prioritize something right now, that's absolutely fine. Don't put pressure on yourself to then try and do everything else. You're prioritizing it for a reason, and it's number 1 for a reason. So just taking that pressure off yourself and knowing that's what you got to do right now will really help. The third thing to start thinking about is, who are you? Quite an odd question maybe to start exploring. But we say to people, this is now the moment to really get to know yourself. Really start to give yourself time to go exploring and get to know who you are. When was the last time that you did that? Do you know what your values are? Have you explored them? Sometimes when people aren't feeling great in their jobs, it's because their values are not aligned to the organisation or the change around them. Do you know your strengths? Have you done some recent work on really what are your strengths, what you bring to the table, what you love doing, what you found easy? It's always really good to have a list of this so that you can draw on that. The next thing is your beliefs. What are your beliefs? What are the things that are really helping you to move forward? And what are some of the things that are holding you in place? Beliefs are things that perhaps you've been brought up on, or come from your childhood, or come from the environment around you. You might have just formed them. So you might catch yourself saying things like, oh, that's not me, I can't do that. Or, no, that's not the way it's done round here, it's done like this. Or, people like me don't do that. These are all beliefs. If you catch yourself saying these things that hold no facts, they're just what you believe, challenge yourself. Grab them and work on them. Maybe some of those things hold the key to your next move. The other thing we say is really tune into what you dislike. There's no harm in just doing a bit of exploring on, what are the things you're really not loving about work right now? Just go right in there and really challenge that. The reason why this is important is because sometimes people feel like, right, I'm not happy in my job. I need to get rid of my job. I need to move. And that's it. But when you really start to dig deep about what am I really disliking about this job, it might be it's just a few tweaks are needed. It might be a person. Go and speak to the person. Try and address what's going on there. It might be some of the tasks that you're working on. Maybe they can give you different projects to work on. So, embrace your dislikes, but don't just take them as a dislike. Go a step further and really explore, what does that really mean? Is it a problem that maybe you can solve? Can you love the job that you're doing right now with a few tweaks? Your environment. Have a look around. Who are the people around you right now? What are they saying? What are they doing? It's really important to get the right people around you when you're making change. Too often you can have people around you who are feeling the fear as well, and when you start sharing your ideas or you start sharing what you'd love to do, you're actually triggering something inside of them, and they're maybe not as supportive as what you'd like them to be. So just look around who you've got and who do you need. Where can you find people who are trying to do the same things as you, who understand it and who'll support you? So spend some time getting to know yourself. 4. What do you need? Just hold that question for now. What are you needing right now? It's such a good question when you feel stuck. Is it a financial need? Is it a mental need? Is it an emotional need? Is it a physical need? What are you needing right now? You could use Maslow's hierarchy as a good prompt if you want to explore that. What's missing in your life right now? What are the things that are feeling like you need more work? Explore this, because this is the good, true foundation to then make change in your life. So it's really worth really thinking about what you need. And then that brings us to the question, what do you want? See, quite often we jump straight into this question. What do I want? What do I want to do? And it overwhelms us and it just feels too much and we don't know and we don't have the answers. So we feel fed up and we get stuck. But this question, as you see, it comes way down the line. It comes after you've done all of that exploring that we've mentioned before. Then you can start to think, okay, what are my dreams? What are my goals? What's my future look like? But I always tell people, leave the wants until further on in the process. Sometimes dreams and goals can just overwhelm and overshadow, and they actually prevent you from moving on. At the right moment in time, the dream and the goal or what you want to achieve will come to you and you'll know what the next step is. So don't put pressure on yourself to know what you want immediately. What does that feel like when you sit with the question, what do you want? Does it feel good? Does it feel a bit awkward? It's a good question to keep exploring and see what comes up. But I always say to people, keep it for the future. Don't put pressure on yourself to have an answer now. Sixth thing to explore. Why do you want it? So once you've started thinking about what you want, and you might start to have a feel for it, you can then start to explore, okay, what's the motivations? What's really driving this want, this need? Where is your energy? What's your capacity for it? And the biggest question I always say to people is think about expectations. What are you expecting from this? This is huge because sometimes we can get the wrong direction. We can feel the wrong direction, a little bit like the example at the beginning. We think, oh, I want to leave my job. I've had enough. I'm going to start a business. I want more freedom. But more freedom might not come with starting your own business. You have to really dig deep about what you want from this change and make sure you're making the right choices. Your self-employment is amazing and, creating a business is amazing, but it might not be for you. It might not be satisfying some of these expectations, some of these motivations of actually what you're wanting from change in your life. So spend time really thinking about why you want change. What are you wanting from it? And 7, very important question, what you don't want. Sometimes I get people to start here. It's a good place to start. Okay, we're feeling a bit stuck. We're not sure what to do next. All right, what don't you want? Make a big list. What are you not wanting right now? What's feeling icky? What are you escaping from? That door closing. What is that door closing? What would you like that door to be closing? What are you saying goodbye to? This is a really important one again, because often in change, we don't say goodbye well. We don't recognize what we need to move away from. And sometimes when it comes to that moment, you realize, oh my goodness, that's not what I wanted. I can't say goodbye to that. Sometimes like identity or some sort of work that you're doing, you actually wanted elements. You loved those elements. I loved working with people. Loved being creative. Why am I closing this door? So thinking hard about what you don't want, and the next layer of that, being really detailed and specific about what you like and what you don't like, what you do want, what you don't want, and what are you going to be saying goodbye to in the change. And you'll be happy to say goodbye to it. It will be a happy goodbye. Really important factor to think about. The 8th thing to think about. Who do you want to be? So far up to now, we've kind of explored a lot of doing. What do you want to do next? What do you want to do in future? It's a lot of do. And that's fine. But sometimes Think about, what do you want to be? What springs up when you think about that? Scribble a few thoughts just now. I'm who? What? What are you being? I'm the kind of person who? What? You can see how each one of these questions builds, because if you've done the work about getting to know yourself, who you are, who you want to be, comes naturally from that. I want to be the kind of person who gets creative. I want to be the kind of person who helps people achieve their goals. I'm the kind of person who takes risks. I'm the kind of person who lives their life in this way. That's the kind of thing to explore in this section. Who do you want to be? The 9th thing to think about. How do you want to be? It flows from the last question. How do you want to live? Again, if you feel stuck on the what do you want to do, I often tell people, start here. Have a go at, okay, how do you want to live? How do you want to be? What does it look like if you're living the way you want to live? What are you doing? Where are you? What can you see? It's a good place to start. And you can really play with this question quite a lot. Get a great big piece of paper and just put, I want to be, and start writing things and capturing all sorts of ideas and anything from small things to big things, and see what comes up. From there, you can start then to prioritize. Okay, why has this come up? What things do I have control of today? And what things do I actually need to work on? How do you want to be? It's such a good question. And the final question, the 10th thing to think about, where it all comes together. What is your ideal tomorrow? If you got up tomorrow morning and everything just fell in place, what's going on? I always tell people, write this one without much thought. Literally imagine yourself getting up. What time have you woken up in a perfect tomorrow? What's the first thing you do? What's the next thing you do? How does your day go? Who do you see? Who do you talk to? What are you doing? What can you smell? What can you touch? What's lying on your desk? What's on your to-do list? Start to capture these ideas. What is your ideal tomorrow? If you don't know what your ideal tomorrow is, you're never going to make a step forward towards it. I said this was going to be a really quick exercise, 10 things to think about, but as you can see, you can watch this again. When you start building on each question and giving yourself a bit of time to explore it, you start to get answers. I always say, work from your subconscious. Don't do too much overanalyzing. Don't overthink things. Just see what comes out when you ask yourself these questions. That way you can then create the foundations for career change. From there, you will know, okay, what can I do next? What can I do to help myself step forward in the way that I want to step forward? That's why getting to know yourself is really important. So you do it your way. You don't do it a way that, some guru's telling you, this is how you career change. This is that might work for them, but it might not work for you. You've got to form a plan that's going to work for you. I'm going to stop sharing. It might come back on screen. Who knows? A canter through the 10 things to think about when career changing. But as you can see, it starts to build. And as you start exploring, that's when other questions come up, or you can get actions. So you get stuck on something, think about, right, who can help me with this? How can I move forward? How can I get curious and perhaps approach somebody who's maybe doing something similar to what has come up that I'd like to do? What's a way that I can do it, but it doesn't cause me too much conflict in other parts of my life dashboard? So you can see how this starts to build, and you can see that you can then start creating a plan and taking small steps. BJ Fogg's amazing book, Tiny Habits, it helps you to reduce things into small steps so you can take one step at a time. I'd love to know what's come up for you. Please drop us a note at Another Door. If you want more help, this is what we help people with. We help people get another job when they've lost their job, but we also encourage people to see job loss as an opportunity. What if job loss could be the best thing that happens to you? What if you can actually make it something that brings something even better into your life? You own the next door that you're going to walk through. What if? Let's go exploring together. Thank you so much for watching the masterclass. If you've got any questions, if you want to get in touch with us, just drop us a note at Another Door, hello@anotherdoor.co.uk. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. I know that was a canter. It's meant to be because I want to loosen up your ideas. I want to get that all flowing. I want lots of scribbles on your notebook. And then you can sit with it and see what happens. Have a great day. Thank you very much for watching. And hopefully I will see you in Another Door program soon.